Greetings, fellow lurkers and skulkers of the deeper, darker corners of the internet. Welcome to Driving and Dragons and our weekly exploration of all that is so stupid it makes our brains bleed from the dregs of the TTRPG social media this week. Hey, as of recording this rant, last week's video has 666 unique viewers. It's the number of the beast, which is quite frankly something I would much rather listen to than some of the hot takes featured in today's video. Seriously, I go to Mass every week and live a life of charity so I can avoid an eternity of being subjected to opinions like these. One quick disclaimer. Since some viewers seem to miss the point of what this series is all about, our hobby is filled with people raging out over opinions about how other people play make-believe with polyhedral plastic objects, Cheetos and Mountain Dew, or if you prefer, beer and pizza. So here is where we take the piss out of that with our own outsized reactions to some of the more idiotic statements made by those in the hobby who choose to opine publicly. Lighten up, folks. It's all wine and roses here at Driving and Dragons. So let's get to it, because plenty of folks are out there using intelligence as a dump stat. Let's kick it off with the low-hanging fruit, generic Ginny D. The blue-haired princess of the Watsy Shill Sparkle Trolls is out there doing her level damnedest to keep the biscuit wheels from falling off her D&D fueled gravy train. And if D&D 2024 goes down in a burning heap, well, she may just be forced to get a job like the rest of the rabble commoners. Oh no! She must find ways to keep her army of social justice simps buying into the free trade, ethically imported, sugar-free but no high fructose corn syrup Kool-Aid that allows her to live a life of making videos on the internet. And she has it, gang. Barbie Dungeons and Dragons. She got herself a bunch of secondhand Barbie dolls to make little homemade fantasy RPG figurines, and now you too can download the PDF from her website for the Oath of Glam Barbie Paladin class. Wow. All you have to do is punch in a bunch of contact info so that she can help inflate those numbers that she sends over to pump advertisers for more coin. Well, there's certainly a place for goofy, fun, lighthearted joke content in our games. What we have no place for is self-righteous disrespect for the giants that you built your little cottage empire on. In addition to her ham-fisted cash grab joke class she's shilling out to the masses, Jenny has also decided to low-key sign on to the bullshit narrative about Gary Gygax being a brutal misogynist who wanted to keep girls out of gaming, stating that she takes it as a compliment that Gygax would be rolling in his grave to know that she was a big voice in the D&D space. Well, Jenny, got news for you. Gary would not care at all what's between your legs. He would care what's between your ears. He would be spinning in his grave because of the absolute mockery you make of his game, and you have made so much profit from so little knowledge and even less respect for it. Get over yourself. I honestly hope the D&D market collapses just so I can tell you that I want large fries next time I have to hear about your new joke class that fits into the game about as well as your blue hair fits in among people who deserve to be taken seriously. But all of this stems not from Jenny's garbage, but from Radio Baloo, who responded to Harmony Ginger's rebuttal of Jenny and her ilk with this gem. Quote, Gygax was the greatest villain ever to disgrace the table. One might defend Gygax's take on women, Harmony Ginger does. I appreciate her effort and view. Still, dude was a jerk who mishandled people and the very product itself. Taking issue with D because she dislikes Gary is weak, unquote. First, dude, you got pronouns in your bio. You got no business calling anyone weak. Just look at this crap. Making sure he is very careful to let everyone know that he isn't challenging Harmony because he's a good little male feminist and would never let himself be seen asserting himself to a female. Must remain submissive, you know. Then, when the dog pile started from people who actually respect the hobby and its creator, and some people who actually knew the man he's spouting off about, all he wants to do is sit down and act smug. Just a self-righteous prick who, to use a phrase I've unfortunately needed to repeat here recently, is pissing in the face of the giant whose shoulders he stands on. And for those who need it pointed out, mocking Ginny D is an outsized reaction to her garden variety shillery. What was said about her white knight was a well-deserved legitimate disdain. So back to more fun topics. The BroSR, some bro-adjacent grognards, and our old buddy the angry GM set off a whole new round of idiocy surrounding gold for XP. In this case, it is the puzzling and utterly unsupportable take that somehow not using gold as XP deprives players of agency in the game. This is just a borderline retarded take, seriously. They tried desperately to present a case that gold for XP means you don't need quests or monsters to gain XP and level up so players can do whatever they want to get hold of the gold and gain the experience points. But this is not only a fundamental misunderstanding of how gold for XP works, but it's a take that makes absolutely no sense at all. It all runs back to the zero prep myth that the BroSR loves to propagate. But at this point, one has to ask themselves the age-old question first given to us by Obi-Wan Kenobi. Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who keeps engaging these morons? That indeed spiraled off to Chief BroSR Nimrod B-Dubs, who may very well be a fine person, but online he represents all the worst of BroSR douchebaggery. Once again, he tried stepping up to those more knowledgeable, respected, and accomplished in every way as it relates to TTRPGs. Sandy Peterson, who has forgotten more about AD&D and other TTRPGs of the late 70s than B-Dubs ever knew, said that an opinion on gold for XP was bunk, namely the idea that not using XP somehow made the goal that needed to be accomplished in order to earn experience points a secret from the players. This is an idiotic opinion that makes zero sense, and Sandy was correct to point it out. This, of course, led B-Dubs to lay out great words of wisdom such as hashtag get paid and not surprised since it's a dude who made a game based on the anti-aesthetic and possibly evil D100. Disgusting. Just as an aside here, the D100 system he's referring to Call of Cthulhu, which is just a far more elegant system than anything that was ever put into a D&D book. D20 is fine. The D20 system is functional. It's not a bad system. All the versions, every edition of D&D is a good playable game, but it's not it's kind of clunky and it has a lot of flaws. It works for what it is, but I'm just going to tell you right now, the D100 system in Call of Cthulhu, far more intuitive, far more adaptable, far more elegant. But B-Dubs just has no shoes in his closet other than clown shoes, and may not even be capable of saying anything intelligent as it relates to TTRPGs. I mean, seriously, he might be held as a hostage by some group dedicated to the spread of the lowest IQ takes in all of gaming. B-Dubs, listen, man, blink twice if you need us to rescue your table from the only people as idiotic about gaming as Wizards of the Coast. Thank God for Violence Solves Everything, who stepped in to point out exactly which hole B-Dubs speaks out of. Rounding out this week of BroSR members showing us all that when it comes to experience, they have all the experience making comments that require extra chromosome, we have Scudder for Mike. Now, I generally like Mike, and I agree with many of his takes on gaming. But his position on milestone leveling is just burning garbage. He presented a straw man that milestone leveling is just DMs who have a novel in mind and don't want to share their plot with the players. It's where PCs wander about unsure of objectives and players are stripped of their agency anytime that XP isn't granted from gold. Well, this is just stupid. And I do mean stupid. It isn't ignorance, because Mike should know better, and he apparently positioned his head deep inside his rectum in an attempt to find the BroSR's one true way of gaming. First, how players advance and players having clear objectives are in no way related. All you do with XP for gold is limit how PCs can advance. If all you do is gold for XP, a PC can defend the city from a horde of invaders, accomplish great feats of diplomacy, and spend a decade in the study of arcane mysteries, and in no way advance unless the GM chooses to award them gold. No different than a GM choosing to award XP for anything else or to forego XP altogether and just award full levels all at once. Now, gold for XP is actually only one part of the equation. In the rules encyclopedia, gold for XP is just one line item on a list of things that XP should be awarded for, including completing overall objectives. But the way Scudderford presents it is that PC should be awarded for ignoring leads the GM puts in the game to guide them to adventures, and instead staying in town to sell their underpants to strange Japanese tourists and lift coins out of the March of Dimes jar at the local general store should result in advancement for the character. It's just plain stupid. Gold for XP isn't necessarily stupid, though I dislike it on a fundamental level, but the entire idea that somehow not using gold for XP in any way infringes on player agency is just an opinion that is such trash you can see it floating away from New York City on a barge. So that's what we've had this week. Trust me, there was a lot more that could have been crammed in here. Personal issues, sprayed across X between immature young ladies and the butthurt, cringy children. Wizards of the Coast choosing to use digital art on Dragon's Lance books instead of Larry Elmore because it, quote, pops more with, predictable results. The return of combat wheelchairs. Even the good old-fashioned awful DM advice of never say no, and if you ban anything from your game, you're just a bad DM. There was all kinds of stupid to choose from. I focused on XP and advancement, except for the part about pointing out Gygax bashers who need to be driven from the temple of TTRPGs like Jesus drove the money changers away from the temple. But I'd like to hear what you think I missed in the comment section below. Check out my intro to my new series on leveling and advancement. Leave a comment below on the dumbest thing that I didn't cover in this video. Hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time.